Good evening, my Roslins and Rosikins. Mother is back. And boy, don't I have a lot to catch you up on, okay? So, as you know, I have a brown/darkskin exotical series, and my channel is created for brown/darkskin exoticals in general. But what I forgot to really think about and also analyze is that there's a difference between being an exotical and being exotic. And your mother is exotic. She's not exotical in the way that I'm about to describe, but I do fall under the exotical branch of brown/darkskin exoticals. So let me break this down. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is the exotical community as a whole. I want to talk about why it was started. Okay. So, the exotical community, and if you listen to Exoticals United, she really touches on this better than I ever could, especially as a lighter skin exotical. Anyway, so it starts like this. As we all know, Black women empowerment spaces are running shit heavy, heavy, heavy. And like the mid 2000s, like 2010s, etc. And then we started getting into the colorism, futurism, texturism conversations. And they start talking more about how Black men don't want Black women and how Black men have preferences and how the preferences are the preferred ones and they are called exoticals. And it was first taken as a slang term to diminish and insult women of lighter skin and a multicultural ethnic and racial background, if we're going to keep it a buck. And for a while, the exoticals, as you would say, the OG exoticals, is in the light, bright, different mixtures, different hair textures, looser hair textured women and men took it. They took it lying down. They said, okay, I mean, we're part of the Black community though, so yeah, we'll take you bitching us. We'll take you treating us like we stole your man and everything else in sight, even though a lot of times they did unintentionally. I mean, come on, they're beautiful. And so, yeah, they said, okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. And that's not to diminish the fact that some exoticals, as in the OG ones, were, in fact, as one could say, futurist, colorist, etc. But then the next question would be, were they really? If the same person who shared your skin tone, according to you, as Black women, and when I say Black women, I'm just talking in general. I'm going to touch on the other type of Black women that I'm going to mention in this video. But I'm talking about unambiguous Black women, specifically in this scenario. If the same men that look like you are also saying the same thing, is it really our fault if we want to praise our phenotype and we think our phenotype is beautiful just because we look exotical and different than you as the unambiguous Black community and as unambiguous Black women? So then out comes Exoticals United and other exoticals. I believe it was first the Golden Sphere, where they literally just had a group to themselves for lighter skin exoticals, the OGs, mixed, multi-generationally mixed, biracials, etc. Okay, nothing more, nothing less, just the fact that we have lighter skin, we know that we have mixed ancestry, we look it, no one questions that. People ask us where we come from all the time. And yeah, and so no one could bully us here because we have our own community now. No one could diminish our plights and our experiences in life, especially within the Black community, because we're here for each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that it was specifically needed because a lot of times, a lot of Black women empowerment spaces were telling lighter OG skin exoticals, okay, to create their own space, get out of their space, since they couldn't relate to the plights they were having with the Black men in the Black women empowerment space and sector and the insecurities that the Black women empowerment space had. And I'm speaking more so for the unambiguous Black women in this sense and in this scenario that were mostly complaining, because I didn't really see too many other type of Black women I'm going to talk about later in this video complaining. I'm just gonna say it. And so yeah, I thought that that was interesting. But that is basically the, I guess, summarized synopsis of, I'm going to say from my perspective, because I'm not, this video isn't necessarily about that, like what started this, but it is to give context to why this thing is a thing today. And so that's what happened. And then you have Exoticals United. I call her the Queen Bee Exotical. I don't care what no one says. She created a channel that opened up the floodgates of exoticalness and said, you might be an exotical and you might be an exotical and you could be an exotical. Okay, cool. Um, I love you, Exoticals United. I hope you watched this video. Anyway, and so she said, okay, well, I see the issue basically with the golden sphere, but I also see the issue with the Black community. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm so sorry, Exoticals United. I hope I'm representing you correctly with somewhat of your ideologies. I'm sorry if I don't. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yes. Okay, so I just have to add that because I never want to take what a content creator says out of context or misrepresent them. So I'm just going to conclude from what I've gathered so far because she is someone who is very much so big on acceptance and different beauties, and that there's no one specific standard when it comes on to exoticalness. And so we're going to get into it. She, on her channel, like the queen bee she is, had to drop a video about brown cis dark skin exoticals. And to be quite honest, I feel like it took the exotical community and Black community by storm. Because it's one thing when someone is light, bright, looking European and anything else, other mixture, Asian, etc. You know, they look, you could tell. You could just tell. You could just tell. They look it. 1000%. Someone has to ask where you're from. So we understand this concept, right? Okay, I hope we're all understanding so far. It's one thing when someone is like that, but it's another when, oh shit, they share melanin with the Black community completely, and they're still an exotical. So you're telling me that you don't just have to be light and bright to be an exotical? You can actually have melanin, be melanated, be mixed, be melanated and mixed, and still have the exotical experience and be an exotical. You can have a lot of African ancestry running through your DNA and still be an exotical. You can be monoracial and still be an exotical with melanin and some Afrocentric features. You can be exotic still too. Okay, so these are like the questions that I'm sure everyone's thinking. Like seriously, like what? Yeah, it's like that. And so it brings us to the point that we are now, where we have a movement, a sector within the exotic community and the Black community that is neither, for some, fully exotical, but also neither fully Black presenting or Black community presenting as one would assume an unambiguous Black woman to be. And with that, I'm going to break it down further about the differences between the exotic brown cis dark skin, well, the brown cis dark skin exotic versus the brown cis dark skin exotical. And I'm going to also break down the unambiguous Black woman and how she plays a role into this sector. So there's three types of melanated women. Two of them have benefits and do not have the same plights as one of them. And I'm sure you're able to guess where this is going and how I'm going to break this down. Now, I want to say before I break all this shit down, you don't have to agree with it. You can think this is crazy. You can think that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You could say, oh, here we go, some dumb shit. And you know what? You would be right if that is what you believe. If that's what you believe. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm just going to break down something because Mother, again, is authentic. And I want to talk about these things because I believe and I know in my heart they're important to talk about. And I also don't want brown cis dark skin cycles to feel slighted by what I say on my channel if I ever slighted them, which I pray God I didn't because they're lovely. And it was never to try to present as something that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And I don't also want, I'm going to say it, unambiguous black women slash people, but for this instance, unambiguous black women, um, to feel that this is a community in which I don't praise unambiguous black beauty, because I do. I do. And I don't want unambiguous black women to also feel that to have unambiguous features, as in Negroid African features, is a bad thing, because some of those features I too possess. Okay, moving on. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So the first sector of the exotical sphere that I want to talk about is the brown/darkskin exoticals. The majority of who my videos are geared towards, the reason I came on YouTube, and what I initially identified as. So this will hopefully help everyone get an idea of what mother is trying to say. And if you don't catch it after this, I don't know what to tell you. But the brown/darkskin exotical is what we're going to focus on right now. So the brown/darkskin exotical is a mixed woman or a multicultural woman, multiracial woman, so biracial, multi-generationally mixed woman with 25% or more racial ancestry outside of African ancestry. She is someone, or he is someone, that benefits from texturism, featurism, pretty privilege as well. And that can be a combination of all these things, or, they have the ancestry and whatnot, like they're mixed, but they might have the texturism, but still look a certain way. Or they might benefit from featurism, but they always, will always, and I really feel this deep in my soul, have a pretty privilege. Because I don't know, I'm just a different type of person. I've always said this, pretty is pretty. Like me, when I think of the word exotical, I think of pretty. And also, let me explain why, while I'm doing this and saying this with this section. The reason I think of exotical and beauty, or exotic and beauty, is because there is a collective pretty privilege stereotype mixed with exoticalness. That's why they were called exoticals in the first place. They didn't have the same problems as unambiguous black women collectively, according to unambiguous black women. And they were being silenced and made fun of because of it. Can we talk about it? The reason that the Exotical Spear was even created was because a lot of beautiful girls are getting hated on for being pretty. That was the problem. And beautiful men were being hated on for being handsome. That was the problem. And since they didn't have the same struggles and victim mindset and ostracization and self hate as a lot of unambiguous black people during that time, and even some to this day, to be quite honest, still within the black community, they were called exoticals because they were basically freaks of nature. So you mean to tell me you have some blackness in you and you still are accepted by other communities outside the black community? You still get pretty privilege? You still get certain opportunities? People still find you attractive? Yeah, yeah, that was their reality and it still is. So that's why, that's exactly why that was even a thing, okay? And so I'm always going to include pretty privilege when I say exoticals and exotics, because I pair that with them because they never made being unattractive one of their plights. It was never a thing. It will never be. It still isn't. Okay? They are people that come from the black community and other communities that benefit from beauty. And I also want to add, that's not to say that you have to be mixed or anything to be beautiful, or outside the black community to be beautiful. So I'm going to say that now because some people might take my words and just be like, oh, she's praising everything but blackness. No, I'm not. How could I? I mean, look at me. Moving on. Like, let's be for real here. Beauty is beauty. Pretty is pretty. I always say this on my channel. I don't know what people want from me. I don't know what people want from any exotical. Shit, sometimes I don't even know what you want from yourselves as the Black community and other communities. Beautiful people exist in every range, every hair texture, every race, every skin color, every skin variation, every ethnic background mixture. And every community, there are pretty people. There are beautiful people. The problem though is that there was a certain part of the Black community, hashtag exoticals, who were as a collective given an opportunity. And because they have Blackness running through them, the Black community felt entitled to that and persecuted them in their own ways because of it. And I'm not also saying, and I'm going to look, both sides I understand, but let's keep it a buck. I understand that some people have been very much so rude to unambiguous Black people and have looked at them as less attractive because of their features. I understand that. I'm not taking away from people's experiences, unambiguous Black people's experiences that dealt with that. But to make it a whole entire group of people's problem because you're insecure about yourself is not fair to them because they're thriving with their beauty and they don't have those same victim mindsets and I guess rejection and ostracization outside of the Black community in general, right? That gives it to them because the world doesn't treat them that way. And even if they did, they still are going to be beautiful at the end of the day because they believe themselves to be and they present themselves as such, right? It's not the struggle Olympics within the exotical community, and that's the beauty of exoticals. They've learned to stand on their own 2 feet, despite everything that people have thrown their way in the Black community and other communities that they might be a part of that might have ostracized them at one point too. Because I can't sit here and say that also exoticals have it easy, whether they're brown skin, dark skin, or light skin within the exotical community. I can't sit here and say that. I just can't. I cannot say that, oh, they don't experience racism from other cultures that they're also mixed with. And I can't say they don't experience racism from the Black community as well, or ignorance from the Black community, or entitlement. Because I talk about this on my channel for a reason, because I even experienced that. I do, still am. And technically speaking, when I'm the way I'm breaking this down, I'm not even exotical, as one would say, when I think about it. And I'm going to explain what I really am when I think about it and actually like sat down, spoke to people with some wisdom, and thought about this shit. So again, exotical brown slash dark skins, like brown slash dark skin exoticals, they are mixed, multi-generationally mixed. They benefit from texturism and or featureism and or pretty privilege. Okay? They're not new to the exotical community. They're true to the exotical community. The difference was that they weren't really shining a light on at the time. But because of Exoticals United channel, the brown skin exotical, and other brown skin dark skin exoticals like my channel, who praise the aesthetic and also make people aware that they do exist out there, and that the only thing they share with the Black community is their skin tone. They're able to have their own section now. We're able to have our own section. Okay? So I'm glad I could break this down. I hope that this gives clarity. I hope this does. Because the exotical is literally the flipped coin. Sorry, the brown slash dark skin exotical is literally the flipped coin of the lighter skin exotical, of the golden sphere. It's just saying that we're also exoticals. We're just brown to dark skinned. That's literally it. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna get into where Mother places herself after really thinking about this shit. So I am the exotic, the brown slash dark skin exotic. So I have 25% or less admixture. So I'm not mixed. I'm not MGM multi generationally mixed that I'm tracking officially on record. Again, I still have to continue digging into my ancestry, but it is what it is. I benefit from texturism. So, oh yeah, when I mention texturism, I mean like 4A and below for the texturism. So even in the exotical section I just talked about, that's what I'm talking about. Like they have 3C, 3B, 3A, etc. Type of hair textures. The ones that Black people, unambiguous Black people would say, "Oh, you got good hair." Yeah, I've had people say it to me, And I know that they've had people say that to them as well. Okay, featureism. So I want to also add that I feel like I have more Afrocentric features than certain other exoticals, which is fine with me. Because on my channel, I always talk about how African features are beautiful, and that I don't believe that just because you have, let's say, for me personally, Asian features, European features, Afrocentric features, other types of features, that you're ugly. I don't I don't believe that. I believe that it all depends on how it all comes together. Because I talked about this, about brown skinned, dark skins, all cools. Like they have the best of both worlds, right? And that they also prove, we also prove, right, that featureism is more important even than texturism. Because there are brown shirts, dark skin exoticals, and other exoticals with 4C hair, same type of hair texture as those of unambiguous black women, that are still put on a pedestal. So that's why I say people can miss me with the hair conversation in a lot of different conversations, because it all boils down to how the face all works together to create like all your features combined. Um, and even it's scientifically proven about a golden ratio, etc. And some people would say like, well, if you're not stunning, if you're not this, if you're not that, then like you shouldn't talk about certain things. But I want to remind everybody that a lot of your favorite celebrities have had work done to look as gorgeous as they do and handsome as they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I also talk about that on my channel. If you have the means, if you have all your priorities set up great, and you have this money and you've been saving for this goal or whatever you choose to do to your body, it's yours. As long as you can look at yourself as a man or woman in the mirror after everything is said and done, that's all that matters, right? But this is what I'm getting at though. And then they have pretty privilege. Like I said, when I think of exotic, when I think of exotic, I think of pretty privilege because as a collective, they have built themselves up on a pedestal and have also been put on a pedestal um, outside of their own like self by the black community and other communities, right? Of rights throughout the world. And so they have the pretty privilege as a collective. And then for me too, I believe that like to be a brown sister skin exotic, you are monoracial. That's what I believe anyway. Well, could be. But from my stance, for me personally, I'm monoracial. I have two African American parents, which I talk about, although one is partially African American and West Indian that I'm tracking. I'll keep you guys updated on all this stuff. But so far, that's what I'm tracking. And then, yeah. So for me, I also consider myself a Negro. I don't know. I hope that's not ignorant to say because it's the truth. I love it. I do. Um, I do. So I also would say that I categorize myself as an ambiguous black woman. And I always say that in my videos too. I'd be like, I'm a brown cis dark skin Zaco. I'm an ambiguous black woman. I'm an exotical black woman. Because I am. Okay. Okay. I never claimed to be mixed. Shout out to all the mixed girlies though, the multi-generation mixed brown cis dark skin Zacos out there repping yourself and your lineage well. But and men too. But I never ever have I ever. Hello, never did I ever. But this is what Mother categorized herself as, just to be politically correct in this climate, because I do not have the time for ignorance from everybody else trying to tell me what I am and what I isn't. Let me be the first to tell you. Let me correct myself. No, 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 no. It was my bad. It was mine. So let me correct myself. So I am a brown cis dark skin exotic. I'm an ambiguous black woman. I'm an exotical black woman, like I've said before. But I want to make that very clear because I know my videos are titled Brown Stars, Dark Skin Exoticals, and they're for brown stars, dark skin exoticals. And I also want to add that the exotic brown stars, dark skin, or the dark skin, or the brown stars, dark skin exotic is still categorized underneath the exotical community and underneath the brown stars, dark skin exoticals because they're still paired. Because here's the thing that I really want to get to, but I will get to that after I break down unambiguous black women and how they are seen and portrayed in media, in life, in personal experiences on the web, just all that stuff, because I really know in my heart of hearts that this is important, because I feel like the Black community at times, and even sometimes the Exotical community, we tiptoe around the obvious. And so I just want to talk about why they're different in this situation. Okay, so we're going to talk about the unambiguous Black woman. So, unambiguous Black women, by their standards, they have 4C hair, darker skin, Afrocentric features, and they possess all three at the same time. That right there is the only difference that I'm tracking for me personally between them and ambiguous Black women and brown cis dark skin exoticals. I will also say that unambiguous Black women are also monoracial as well. So the reason that I do not attribute um, as a collective pretty privilege just based off of their reputation as being um, like given to them is based off of what they've said. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times, even to this day, I still see videos of unambiguous Black women talking about how nobody values them, how they're not beautiful enough, how Black men don't want them, how like fuck all Black men, fuck this, fuck that, fuck the preferences. Oh, look, I guess that light skin didn't keep them. Oh, the preferences. They've got the same Black man, all this stuff. Just and it just like, oh my God, I can't. I can't. Then you have Clarissa Shields. Is that her name? I think it is. Whatever her name is, the boxer woman that literally was talking about light skinned women, talking about like how she's better looking. It's just, oh God, the insanity is crazy. I can't. And then they also swear they're twins with ambiguous Black women that are put on a pedestal because they're deemed as pretty by society. The same prettiness that they swear as unambiguous Black women they don't possess because the world doesn't acknowledge it. The same type of beauty that they want others to be the representation for, people like Beyonce to be the representation for, right? I just it's a hard one. But if they didn't, I believe, for me personally, represent themselves in such a way that it is almost a crime to be an unambiguous Black woman, with how they harp and harp and harp on the rejection they feel and the victimhood and how nobody wants them. If they literally shifted their mindset a lot, to understand that they do have pretty privilege, that 4C hair is a popping. Okay, okay, okay. Like, come on now, that you can grow that shit, right? Like, you could grow it. Like, your hair is gorgeous. Your hair is versatile. If they understood that their bigger nose, bigger lips did not attribute to anything ugly on them, it's all about proportions. That's it. Like, you could have bigger noses and bigger lips. I've seen so many gorgeous unambiguous Black women on Pinterest. Oh my God. Oh my God. It just makes me like, oh, okay. Seriously. That just, honey, got it going on. Like, I don't understand melanin pop into the gods. Oh my God, look like an ethereal goddess. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And I'm really caking it on because it's just the goddamn truth. Same way I cake it on for brown cis dark skin exoticals. The same way I cape it on or cake it on for brown cis dark skin exotics. Fuck if I care, honey. If you're pretty, you're pretty. What's good? I don't care. There's nothing to care about. The only time I ever go off is when people just want to swear that we're all the same. We have the same experiences, but we don't. Because you're bitching and moaning about how you don't have pretty privilege. I'm telling you that I do. You're saying that Black men don't want you. I'm saying that they do want me. What's the difference if we're twins? What's the difference? I don't get it. I will never understand that. And no one can convince me that that is not weird. How are we exactly the same, but we don't have the same experiences? How are we exactly the same, but our representation is completely different and the way people view us are completely different, aesthetically speaking? And then you want to bring into culturally speaking and also the mindset shift of that of exoticals versus unambiguous Black women as a collective. Again, collectives, because there's outliers to all this. There are confident unambiguous Black women that are gorgeous, eat down, okay? But a lot of times, I believe, me personally, from what I've seen within the Black women empowerment spaces, they are a lot of times cast aside for those who get online that are unambiguous Black women that be overweight, that be out of shape, that don't have their shit together, that make poor life decisions, that are not hygienic, that invest more in a fucking weave than they would their own natural hair, but they want to cry about how it's not fair and how they hate their 4C hair. Honey, there is nothing wrong with you. There is everything wrong with how you're going about your beauty, though. I'll tell you that much. But you have beauty. You just don't see it. And my channel is not to harp on that because mother also experiences that at times. Can we go there? If you're a woman, you're going to experience some form of insecurity at some point. You're going to compare yourself. You're going to feel, keyword feel doesn't mean it's true. Sometimes insecure. Shit, sometimes even jealous. And that's where the real women have to step up and say that. Because a lot of women that are pretty or that want to believe they're pretty feel that it's a crime to admit that sometimes you don't always feel that way. Sometimes you don't always think that way about yourself, no matter what you look like. Okay? So that's why I'm just saying, like, for me and my channel, and for understanding the psychology of unambiguous Black women that I've seen so far in my life, it's just that they don't see it. It's like they're blinded to all their greatness. They're blinded to the power they have running through their veins. They're blinded to their ancestry and the power it possesses. They're blinded to the fact that melanin is a blessing. And at one point, I was starting to feel the same way. You want to know why I was starting to feel the same way? Because I listened to Black women empowerment spaces trying to tell me 1,000 times how nobody wants you because you're melanin. Oh, they see dark skin as equated to ugliness, when that's not the case at all. That's not it. It's the fact that the way you're presenting is equated to ugliness, not Blackness as a whole. And we got to get that straight. We got to get that straight. And so that's why I want to talk about that. And unambiguous Black women that are listening, or unambiguous Black men, there's beauty in you. I come from you. So of course I'm going to say there's beauty in you. Fuck you mean, okay? Exoticals. We all and exotics, we all have a place in the Black community. There is someone in our bloodline tied to the unambiguous Black community to some extent, y'all. We're just different sectors of the same community. To a certain extent, everybody has a foot in the Black community, all of us do. But it's the fact that a lot of times, a lot of people, especially those who are more unambiguous presenting, equate Blackness to ugliness. And a lot of times, exotics and exoticals don't want that smoke. Because why should we all feel that all of us, because we have Blackness running through our veins or in our faces or through our features, why should we equate that to ugliness? Why should we feel low because we have a content of melanin? Why should we feel like we are at the bottom just because we have Negro nostrils and afros? Why should we feel this way about ourselves? And you know what? I understand too this much too, though. A lot of it has to do with the way that a lot of Black people are programmed. A lot of that slave mentality. A lot of that mentality of the house versus the field. A lot of that mentality about, oh, at least I'm not dark like so and so. At least this is this than so and so. Like, no, it should never be that. The beauty about Blackness is that it's so diverse. Isn't that what we all say? Africa's so diverse, right? We have so many features within the community. We have so many features. And especially as African Americans, because I am one. Okay, I'm a Negro. Get your life. So yeah, especially as African Americans, you guys, we have such a rich culture. We have such a rich foundation. How dare we spit on the faces of the people that came before us and think that we are less than? How dare you think you're less than? Do you know? Do you really understand your lineage? Do you understand just how chosen you are? I don't think you do. And that's a problem I have. And that's exactly why I'm an exotic Black woman. Oh, God, because you got me fucked up with that one. And so, from someone who also has dwelled or delved into so many different things within the Black culture and have found my place as an exotic, okay? I'm not mixed, none of that, but I know I'm not unambiguous, right? I also understand that I don't have the same plights as an unambiguous black woman if you listen to how they portray it on the internet, online, on certain YouTube channels, in media in general. No, I'm not at the bottom. I'm not. I'm not less than because I have a higher melanin content to my skin. I'm not less than because I have a bigger nose to some and full lips. I'm not less than because my hair is 3C4A, curly and coily. I'm not less than that. I'm not less than that. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform everyone who equates blackness to ugliness, that swears that the exoticals hate themselves so fucking much that we had to have our own separate sector in the exotics as well, that you feel the need to sit here and tell us we have self-hate because we acknowledge that there's beauty in everything, not just blackness. But I personally can acknowledge that a lot of my beauty comes from my blackness, and I stand 10 toes deep down in that. And I never said it didn't. But what we're not going to do is equate all of us to being the same. Oh, we're all just the same, but we all have different experiences. Why? Representation experiences come also from the perception people have of our beauty, and us a, a sector, as a group, as a collective. And so, yeah, I can say that unambiguous black women's self promotion so far, okay, has not been the greatest and has not uplifted their beauty the way it should. And I also want to add, have they started changing those things lately? Yeah. But I also want to just say what I'm thinking here now, okay? Don't bite me now. A lot of that has also stemmed from exoticals. Exoticals started their channels. I'm gonna go back to Queen Bee, Exoticals United. I'm gonna go back to Exotic Brown Skin. I'm gonna go back to so many different exoticals. First started their channels, brown, light, dark, everything. First started channels. First it was the lighter ones though, and then the brown ones were introduced more, advocated for more. Then they started creating their own shit, right? And then you have me, you have other content creators that speak on this, Brown Bunny, etc. But the point is, there was first exoticals who started also capitalizing on their pretty privilege as a collective, creating YouTube channels, talking about leveling up, talking about looks maxing, talking about, as Exoticals United says, I forgot what it's called. Oh my God. Okay. Because she talks about strategic leveling up, social climbing. She talks about social climbing. There we go. She talks about social climbing. She talks about all these different things. And now, oh, now we have unambiguous black women starting channels. How to uplift your 4C hair, finding beauty in yourself, all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I understand. I appreciate it. You're rocking it. You're killing it. But where'd you get that inspiration? Because it damn sure wasn't from other unambiguous black women. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. And so, and if it was, I'm sorry, that's my mistake. But I did not see so many unambiguous black women promoting their beauty in a positive light, using better tactics to praise their 4C hair, their darker skin, their fuller lips, their fuller nostrils, until I saw Exoticals doing it first. And so that's why this conversation needs to be had. It's not so much that one group is prettier than the other. The difference is that one group believes that they're actually pretty and the other does not. And that's just the facts. I don't know what to tell nobody. I don't know how to make shit better. All I can be is authentically me as a brown cis dark skin exotic. Okay. So the next thing I want to get into is what are the similarities, right, between all three sectors: the brown cis dark skin exoticals, the brown cis dark skin exotics that fall underneath the brown cis dark skin exoticals, and the unambiguous black woman. And what are the differences? Okay, now Mother's going to break down the similarities between all three groups: the unambiguous black women, the brown cis dark skin exoticals, and the brown cis dark skin exotics. All three have melanin. That is what they all three would share in common. They're brown to darker skinned women. And they all have somewhat of a foot in the black community. Those two things one can never ever deny. One can never deny that. Now, what do the brown slash dark skin exoticals and the brown slash dark skin exotics have in common? They're both fetishized and wanted by unambiguous black men as a collective. Their plights are different from unambiguous black women as a collective. On my channel, I talk about privileged plights. I talk about being stalked. I talk about pretty privileged, the things that I've gotten all the time. I talk about the fact that people always try to humble us with good reason to do so, not to basically be an echo chamber to our insecurities, but because they see that we have little compared to other groups of women, in this case, unambiguous Black women, who as a collective scream their insecurities to the world. Something else that I realized too that exotics and exoticals share is that we are women who very much so praise our beauty that is linked to our melanin. We don't try to victim shame anybody that would not prefer us, if that be the case. If they want a lighter skin exotical, they can have her. If that be the case, we're not in competition with our lighter skin exotical sisters, and I always talk about that on this channel. Neither are we sidekicks. We are able to stand in our own beauty as brown so dark skin exotics and exoticals. We don't try to guilt unambiguous Black men into loving us. We don't have to. We have different problems, honey. Okay? They love us too much. Okay? They want to marry us. They take us serious. They're always chasing after us. They're always validating our beauty, our natural hair. They love it. They love it. They love it. They love it. They love us. They love our skin tone. It's never going to be a question with them about how they feel about brown cis dark skin exoticals and brown cis dark skin exotics, because to them we're the best of both worlds, like I've said before on my channel, right? We're beautiful, we have a nice face, we have a nice body, we have a nice hair texture that they find pretty. Now whether or not it's 4C or anything else, that's up to that Black man, respectfully. That's not up to us, you know. It's up to a man to like what he likes, and if it's you, then you both proceed. But we're not here to beg an unambiguous Black man to make us his number one option in life. That's not our choice or our decision. It's their own. Okay. We don't have to seek beauty validation because a lot of us already get it. Even when we don't even believe we have it, we're given it. And that's when I did my privileged plight series. I really had to think hard about the plights that I have versus the unambiguous Black woman, because I was thinking, I was like, hold up. Everything that I say in regards to Black men at one point came from the perspective of someone that listened to the Black women empowerment space. It wasn't my own. I remember talking to some close Black men in my life that I really adore, and we were talking, and I was spewing all this. Well, they do this to Black women, they do that to Black women, etc., etc., etc. And they were like, "Hold up, like." Is this something you experienced or something you just heard? I said it's something I heard. I never really experienced that in my life. And then they were just like, then why are you saying that shit? And then I had to really think about that shit. Like, hold up. Do I really have those problems? No, I don't. I don't have those problems. I don't see Black men as the villain. I just see them as men. And I would hope they just see, I would say, Black women as women, like literally. And I say that way because there's so much controversial within the Black community in regards to men versus Black women. You got red pill content. I talked about that on my channel, how I actually do agree with a lot of talking points from the red pill sector. And I know people want to feel what they want to feel. It is what it is. I know some people wouldn't believe it, but I do. Because it's about accountability. That is also to say that I believe that a man should be a leader, but he needs to get his shit together on God before you start trying to lead somebody because you're born with a penis. Can we talk about it too? Okay. So that's why I just say, like, for me, I have a very interesting perspective on both the exotical community and the Black community, but I'm aware of both and some of the plights they both have. And I find myself personally as an ambiguous Black woman, as an exotic Black woman, as a brown cis dark skin exotic, okay, dealing with that of the brown cis dark skin exoticals and exoticals, not unambiguous Black women's plights, especially not in that arena in regards to Black men. I also want to say that unambiguous Black women, they don't want to be grouped in as a collective, right? When bad things are said. So why do the same to unambiguous Black men? We really have to think about this shit. Like, make it all add up. Let it all add up, y'all. It's just so much with that sector of Black quote unquote love that really has me side eyeing a lot of unambiguous Black women's content because I'm trying to figure it out. It's like you have two different perspectives that are extreme, and they can't see that they're both basically pleading the same case, but in the most toxic of ways. And I don't want no parts of that because it doesn't help anything. It doesn't create a healthy community. It doesn't create, you know, traditional gender roles. It just creates a lot of chaos and confusion and a hatred of self. Because I believe that within each racial group, the man and the woman are a reflection of each other. And that is no different than in the black community. The unambiguous black man is a reflection of the unambiguous black woman. And so you really want to be careful when you're basically talking shit about your own men as an unambiguous black woman, right? When you're talking shit about unambiguous black men, you want to be careful because, with my experience, unambiguous black men have always had my back. And even if they didn't have my back, they tried or they apologized. It was never so like, oh my God, like, he hates me because I'm a black woman. It was never one of those. It was never one of those things. It was that he was either incompetent or he has his own shit to deal with. I have my own shit to deal with. It was never that. And I also want to add mm, some tea for unambiguous black women. If you literally want unambiguous black men to take you serious, you need to stop slinging it. If you are, because I'm not going to sit here and say every unambiguous black woman is promiscuous because the devil's a liar. And I know that there is a push to have that type of stigma in media and in music and whatnot, especially within the hip hop R&B realm, where it's a lot of sexualization of both genders, but especially unambiguous black women. And they use brown shirt, dark skin exoticals and brown shirt, dark skin exotics to do that with the video vixens and all that shit. Because the truth be told, your average unambiguous black woman is not looking like that, respectfully. And they're not being lusted after to that vicinity the way that they do. Now, you can appreciate an unambiguous black woman's beauty as a collective because they are beautiful as well. But my thing is that the way that they gear it, especially towards unambiguous black men, to eat that shit up as well, you got to think about some shit. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. So my thing though is this: if you want to be taken serious by unambiguous black men, you cannot be having 1,000 babies by Pookie and Tyrone, respectfully, because I'm going to say it. Every unambiguous black woman is not Keisha and Lele. Every unambiguous black man is not Pookie and Ray Ray. There is also classism within the black community that we also have to acknowledge. Some are ghetto, some are classy. If you want to have the classy girl's lifestyle, you got to be a classy girl. It's just adding up. If you want to attract a Tom Henry that's a black man, you got to be with a Tom Henry that's a black man and dating Tom Henrys, not Pookies and Ray Rays that are cute and take you to Popeyes. I hope this don't sound ignorant. You can substitute Popeyes with another restaurant. But the point is that you can't want a certain caliber of man within any community, especially your own, and just think you're entitled to it because you have a phenotype of that reflects his. I'm just gonna say it. I'm tired. I'm tired. You know why also unabused black men take me serious? Because I have self fucking respect. I have self respect. I'm not slinging it to Johnny and everybody. I'm literally still waiting until marriage. I've talked about this on my channel. I've talked about this. I'm not hoeing around. I know what the word no means, and I know how to say that shit with my chest, bro. I mean, sometimes I'm timid, but nah, like, no, thank you. That's what I say, like, no, thank you. Okay, you gotta keep it classy though. And I know I curse a lot. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Mother is working on it. But the point is, let's all be for real with this one. Okay, can we go there? It's just so much that I hear from the unambiguous black women's space in regards to unambiguous black men that I just think is not fair. Are there some delusional black men out there? Yes. Are there some delusional women, black women out there? Yes. Okay. I just think it's the pot calling the kettle black in regards to that subject. And I made videos on my channel about how to get the rich man. And I also broke down, I'm talking about like 80 to 100K, a little bit more, etc. And some people might say that's crazy too, but I don't know what to tell y'all. It's just giving skill and ambition at that point. But the point is that regardless what type of man you want, as an unambiguous black woman, you got to make sure that you position yourself to be that type of woman that he would naturally be paired with if he were in that position that you would like him to be in. You can't be over here still on your little girl shit, still on your thought and phase, thinking that someone's going to wife you up. It doesn't work that way. You can't be over here, thinking that because you have a certain body type, right? Getting a BBL, etc., wearing wigs, wearing weaves. I mean, I like to switch up my hair. I already told y'all, I've been wearing locks. I'm wearing all types of stuff. I've had locks, as you see in my pictures. Like, so my thing is just like I like to switch it up too, but at some point you gotta say, what do I look like without all this shit? Let's get to the tea of the matter. If I were to wake up next to somebody tomorrow, will they still think I'm beautiful? Am I kidding myself or am I playing myself? Right? Like you don't want to be a catfish either. And it's not to say that you can't experiment with your beauty, because I encourage my brown sis dark skin exoticals and brown sis dark skin exotics to experiment with their beauty, because I know I damn sure do. Because I like to switch it up. But I'm not so pressed that I'm going to die if he sees me, the real me. I gladly show people what I look like, as you can see again in my pictures. I have nothing to hide in that respect. Now, if someone thinks that you're ugly, then they think you're ugly. But the consensus is most likely you're not ugly. So that's my thing though. I think it just takes bravery to be willing to overcome your insecurities as a woman in general, to be able to be authentically accountable to yourself. And that's why it's all about mindset. That's what really separates, for me, exotics versus the unambiguous black woman. It's always going to be the mindset, baby. One group believes and knows that they are beautiful, the other one thinks they're not. How could you both get the same results if that be the case? And I'm not going to sit here and say that certain phenotypes are not pedestalized. There you go, over another, especially within the Black community, because obviously it is. That's why the Exotical Spear was created. That's why brown cis dark skin exoticals have gave validity to our existence, and exotics have given validity to our existence, because we're over it. We're over trying to be like black girl magic or yeah, for unambiguous black women that don't even see their own beauty. We're not about to do that. We're not about to be your representation, which is why I also made my videos about that too. Look, everything I'm talking about, I've touched on throughout my YouTube channel. Kind of harsh, I might add. I'm sorry, okay? But I do not apologize for the fact that a lot of it was true. Anyway, it is. It is. I don't know what to say to anybody. It really is, though. But I'm sorry. Okay, sometimes I do go too hard. I accept that. And my personality can be over the top. I'm not apologizing for that either, because it's my personality, is what it is. But the point is that I get it. Okay. I get it. I get it. Okay. But this is what I want to say though, because some of y'all be having me weak. Like, what's going on? What's good within the black community? What's good within the exotical community? I mean, everybody's pressed about exoticals, but we're just sitting over here chilling, living our best lives. And exotics, we don't have the same struggles. We don't. We don't have to do those things. And another topic I realized too that Exoticals United and other exotical channels have touched on, and even my channel, I touch on this too. Being a brown dark skin exotic for myself and exoticals, we do not experience the same masculization that unambiguous black women experience, even though we share the same skin tone. So, honey, the skin tone's not the thing masculating you. It's just not. It can never be the thing masculating you. How could your skin tone be the thing masculating you when we share the same skin tone and we're not masculinated? I don't understand. How, Sway? How does that happen? Right? That doesn't make sense to me. It's not the skin tone that makes you masculine. It's quite frankly other things that make you masculine. Just saying. But it's not the skin tone. And so you talk about how you have to be a social justice warrior and how you want us to cape for you. We're done caping. We're done. And that's my thing, which is why I'm breaking this down, because generally speaking, I love unambiguous black women. But I'll be damned if I let them play with me and other women that share somewhat of my phenotype. And like, what? No, it doesn't go down like that. And then swear that we look exactly alike. How do we look exactly alike when you always have to cover up aspects of yourself that you deem to not be pretty, because you don't understand that you do have pretty privilege? You're just not using it nor acknowledging it. How can we be the same when I literally am not having the same struggles you have with black men? How are we the same when people at my job don't expect me to work hard. They want me to rest. They want me to, it's okay. Go ahead and take a seat. You work so hard already. Even though I don't do shit. At least not right now. I'm currently not doing shit. But the point is, like, what? Like, how is this possible? How? How is it that you feel so isolated, that nobody loves you, that people don't, your family doesn't respect you, they don't care about you? Like, I don't understand. Because a lot of times your families adore you. Is there a lot of trauma within the Black community? Yes. I'm not going to say it isn't. Come on now. We all know this. Exoticals and unambiguous Black people and exotics, we all know this. We all have a foot in that shit. And that's why a lot of us are like, fuck it, because it's devastating at times. I'm just going to keep it for real. It feels hopeless the way and how broken the community is within the Black community, how divided we are. I'm not even going to hold you. It's a whole lot with that shit. As the Black men, Black women, exoticals, exotics, you know, all of us feel the way we feel about our place within the Black community, and we have every right to feel it because of our experiences, because of how others have treated us. They either look the same or didn't look the same as us with our phenotype, right? So we all have our own traumas and things we dealt with, right? So I'm not discrediting all these things that contribute to the shambles that the Black community is right now, right? I'm not taking away from anybody's experiences, not even my own. So I understand. But you can't say that we're twins. You can't say that we are all the same when our experiences are different. And another big thing too is that with unambiguous Black women versus exoticals and exotics, that I found out is in brown / dark skin exoticals and exotics, we don't beg, we don't complain. We put in the work, we level up, we look smacks, we find love within ourselves, even how hard it could be some days, at least speaking from personal experiences. For me, we do what we have to do because we realize no one's coming to save us. We have to be our own victors. We can't just sit here and expect Prince Charming to come through the door, or for Rebecca and Chad to accept us, or whomever, right? Like, okay, you don't like my blackness? Fuck it, we ball. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay, because my blackness is part of my beauty. It's not ugliness to me. And that's what really has drawn me and just, oh God, I'm trying to tell you, I love the Exotical community for this. Because it's never to invalidate their blackness, it's to praise it. You know, when you look at history, think about it this way too. You realize how many multicultural people that have a foot in the Black community have made tremendous strides for the Black community as a whole, for unambiguous Black people. There have been a lot of great leaders, people. I think of Malcolm X. He wasn't a full Black man, but he made a big difference. I think of Coretta Scott King. She's what I would consider either a brown / dark skin exotical, or a brown / dark skin exotic, or a lighter skin exotic when I think about it too. I guess that could possibly be a term too when I think about it, like skin exotic. But yeah, I think of people like that. I think of so many different people that are literally multiracially mixed, more Black presenting, that have actually impacted Black people, and some that aren't more Black presenting, but they have impacted unambiguous Black people as a whole and changed history for the better. Like, there are so many great contributors to our legacy as Black people, as African Americans, that we're not unambiguously Black, and that's okay. Just like there have been many that have contributed to our legacy as African Americans that were unambiguously Black, and that was okay too. The thing that connects us all is our Blackness. That's our pride and joy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, is what I'm trying to say. So you have your different sectors. You have the brown / dark skin Exoticals. You have the brown / dark skin Exotics. You have the unambiguous Black women. And, you know, you have your unambiguous Black men, etc., and the respective, you know, uh, Black men within those different sectors, or mixed men that have darker skin within those sectors as well. It's just all a conundrum of Blackness, but there's always going to be a range. And that's what I also love about the exotic community. There's a range in that too. The difference between the exoticals and the Black community is that we can acknowledge that Black is beautiful, but we can also acknowledge other things are beautiful too. And other parts of us are beautiful, not just our Blackness. Although for some of us, like myself, it's primarily my beauty. And I'm okay with that. And I accept that. And I love that about myself. Um, But to force someone who's, let's say, biracial to blend in with the Black community or to ostracize them because they understand that they have two racial backgrounds in them, not just one, is wrong. No one should police anybody else's identity. No one should try to tell somebody who and what they are. That's not your place. And for me personally, I understand also it's about self awareness, so no one's delusional, which is why I thought it was so funny when people were like, "Oh, I thought you had certain type of hair texture." I never said I did. I said I had 3C4A all my life. Thank you. I never said that hair texture. I never said that. I would never say that because you want to know why? That'd be a fucking lie. Do I like to wear wigs? Yes. Do I like to wear faux locks? Hell yeah. Do I like to wear Marley twists? Oh god, yeah. I like different things. I love a yucky, kinky, straight hair where it has like the little kinks in it and it's giving Afrocentric, baby. I love so many different things. And that's okay. That's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. And if someone like Beyonce wants to play Malibu Barbie, the fuck, who cares? She looks good doing it. Okay? Blonde wig and all. So that's what I'm just saying. Like, the Black community has the focus on the wrong shit, is what I'm trying to get at. You're worried about exoticals, light to brown to dark. You're worried about exotics, light to brown to dark. You're worried about all of us over here. We're just chilling, reaching out to other like minded women and men that have some of the same experiences, right? And you could be monoracial and be an exotic. That's not a question. You can do that because your experiences might be more so geared with what we have going on over on this channel and other channels versus that of the Black women empowerment space or unambiguous Black women's sector. And that's okay. It doesn't take away from their beauty, it doesn't take away from ours. But what we're not going to do on this channel and hopefully not other exotical channels and exotics channels is try to challenge the fact of our experiences. You do have Black women who do benefit from pretty privilege, unapologetically, like myself. You have unambiguous Black women as well that benefit from pretty privilege. And I want to add this: a lot of times, those unambiguous Black women that benefit from pretty privilege are either shunned or they're like clapped at online, but not in real life, in the sense that they're not as praised by other unambiguous Black women that see them. Because I believe that a lot of unambiguous Black women that don't have pretty privilege, that don't want to put in the work to become the woman that gets that certain type of man that they want, or has those same opportunities, or is pedestalized as a beautiful woman in that regard, they don't want to put in the work and they feel jealous, they feel envious of a woman that shares their phenotype completely, that is getting a leg up, and they live vicariously through her. But I love seeing different sectors of the Black community flourish. You know, I love see child free content for Black men and women, especially Black women, and just women in general, because I'm a child free woman. I love things like this. I love all these different perspectives within my community and outside of my community that has a foot in my community, because it makes us the people that we are. A lot of people always want to say Blackness is so diverse, Blackness is this, Blackness is that. For me, Blackness has always been excellence, and I can only speak from the people I've encountered in my life that were excellent Black people. And if you don't have those experiences, then I'm sorry, and I pray that you have them in your adult life. But I've seen so many types of Black people: light, bright, exoticals, exotics, dark and lovely, pretty, everything. Everything you could think of, different occupations, different life decisions, different monetary like positions. Everything's just different. And that's okay. When you stop focusing on what you don't have and you start focusing on what you do as a melanated person, whether you're an exotical or not, or exotic or not, you start to see just how powerful you and the blood that runs through your veins are, and empowers you to make channels like this, right? It empowers you to write books, tell your story, to find others that have your representation, make movies, make films, fashion. Make fashion for your people. Make schools for your people. Educate the children of your communities. It empowers you to be a better person that has a foot in the Black community when you realize that your Blackness is actually a superpower and not a hindrance. And I wanted to say that because this video is to shine a light on these things so no one misunderstands me moving forward. So I just want to say that I appreciate all of you for listening, regardless of your phenotype within the Black community or your foot in the Black community, how big or how small. Blackness is what links us all. And with that, I am going to say ciao. Mother loves you, and thank you for listening.